I've been driving motocross bikes in the Grand Race since launch, and to be honest, they all felt the same. There's so much chaos in that section because it's the start of the race. There are hidden rocks in bushes everywhere, random clipping spots where it just automatically resets you, and still to this day, players who don't know where to go. So figuring out which bike was the fastest just always came second to survival. Until now. Let's go! Real quick before I get into the video, if you're looking for any of my Motorfest tunes or my Need for Speed Heat builds, I've moved everything to my website. It's militiagamingco.com. There's links in the main navigation menu for Need for Speed Heat builds and Motorfest Pro settings, so click those if you're looking for that. The link to the site is actually in the description of this video. Alright, enjoy. So, I tested these bikes a couple of different ways. The first was in a race called Mud Hour. It mostly stresses the bike's ability to maintain speed through corners and how well it accelerates. Then my editor Steven and I took each of the bikes out in free roam to the exact place where the only current Grand Race path is for motocross and ran that course. During that test, I paid attention to the bike's overall speed in slipstream on both off-road and on-road. I used the exact same setup you would have in the Grand Race, which is no NOS AFIX, no legendary points, just green parts that are max level. Here are the results of those tests. On Mud Hour, the Yamaha YZ450F did extremely well. It was the easiest bike to handle and it kept the most speed through corners, and thus it had the best time on that race with a 2:16.087. Not too far behind that was the KTM 450 Red Bull Edition. It also had a great time on that race. As you can see through these times, all are very similar, especially the top three, but the difference in time between the best and the worst is only 2 seconds. So in terms of acceleration and cornering, they're all pretty viable. Now, it must be said that the Grand Race path we have right now doesn't really test the bikes too much when it comes to cornering. There's one spot where you go left up the hill and to the airport runway, and then there's that very last turn in the route before the car transitions. And that's really it, so let's move on to the slipstream and top speed results. This is where the picture becomes even clearer. The Yamaha YZ450F has a slipstream speed of around 153 miles per hour on the dirt or the sand, and around 158 miles per hour on the road. It's the highest in the class, and this is the data that means the most in the Grand Race. No other bike came even close to that top speed. Keep in mind the top speed can vary a little bit depending on NOS usage and how accurate you are with staying in slipstream. So if you're seeing different top speed results than me, it's not an exact science here, unfortunately. That being said, the results are still really clear. The closest to the Yamaha was the Kawasaki KX450F, with a 148 mile per hour top speed in slip on the dirt and the sand, and then a 151 mile per hour top speed on the pavement. But at the end of the day, in the Grand Races in particular, the RNG of racing with 27 other players will affect your race far greater than the bike choice. So if there's one bike that you like the look of, or a brand that you like, or if you have a bike in real life, then go ahead and use that one, because at the end of the day, there are more important variables than the choice itself. But if you're looking for the fastest bike in the class, the Yamaha YZ450F is the one to choose, and I'll be updating my Grand Race meta list as soon as possible. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this information was valuable to you. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.